Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and wherever you are, whoever you are, welcome. Today is 29th of November 2024. This is the last Friday of the month of November, and to all those who are celebrating Thanksgiving in the United States, if you're a US citizen, happy Thanksgiving, and also happy, what should I say, happy Black Friday. Eh? So it's a lot of power sales, fire sales, whatever you may call, blitz sales. There'll be plenty of sales out there. Anyway, I just got my some a fresh notes that I've got from the auction. They've just won. They delivered very promptly. I would say very promptly, very fast. From Katz Auction. I noticed since I have been a patronage as a bidder since I in late last year. It's almost a year that I have been committed going through the items, the list of every auctions they have an event, and those that I'm interested that I will have bid, and throughout the whole time all the new names that I have got, most of them are very difficult to find in Asia, even specifically in Asia. Will be convenient. This Katz auction from Poland, Warsaw. I'm able to get it and won it in a very fair price, I would say. Some a little bit more, some a little bit less, but that's how an auction bid is in eBay or Amazon. In eBay or any kind of auction house that you go to, whether it's electronic online or even is not. And just for information for everyone, for myself, today, tomorrow, and probably I think Sunday, the Katz Auction will have another auction online. So it will be great. They have an auction running, and I will be participating in it. Certain items that I'm looking to wink in my collection. Basically, it's for my collection rather than investment. And other than that, tomorrow there's another auction, local in Malaysia from Trigonometrics, one of the biggest, most prestige auction house for numismatic collection, coins and banknotes in Malaysia. So I have one note in my eyes that I want, but the condition is not really pleasant for me. But I acknowledge that note is quite say difficult to get. So this weekend is a lot of things happening, and Thanksgiving. Even though I don't celebrate it, but I do try to embrace the festivities in the mid autumn before the coming of the peak of winter. Anyway, let's get the show. So the auction that I've won is actually Zimbabwe banknote, Bank of Communication, China, or a few late banknotes of Bank of Communication, Central Bank of China, the one of the custom gold unit. I'm actually a big fan in collecting custom gold unit. There are a lot of varieties of the banknotes. Each denomination has probably about 3 to 4 types of variation, different color, different design. It's not small. It's not those type of very small variation, but quite literally overall pattern design is different. But the principle of the serial number, the governor, the signature, the stamp seal, the wording, the portrait position, they're relatively in the same position as it is, including the year marking of the year of the Republic of China. So that's one note, and I probably would do one next year, probably during the Chinese Lunar New Year. I'll rearrange my collection to talk about just probably about the custom gold unit and what are my collection that I have at the moment. The next one I have bought a purchase. I must say it is not a very good condition among all the People's Republic I had. This is the third series, I would say. The second series is a little older than this one. The 5 yuan, there are two types. This is very easy to see. Is the types that I have is the common one, and the condition wise later, as we will go to one by one, I will tell you that it was another condition that I would love to collect, something that I focus on, and it's quite degraded, but probably I don't have it, so I'm probably going to upgrade it later, make it finding a better one and then sell this one and then get in a better condition. At the moment, at least I have one in my collection, even it's quite a bad condition. And my piece de resort, and I would say my best piece on my auction that I've got, I probably would say is my most expensive among all these lots here. The most expensive is the one silver convertible yen. I will actually go through one by one what are there and show you how they reverse. So yeah, and the price. So let's get it started. So let's start with China. We'll start with this one. This is the front. Okay, I may not read Chinese, but I do know this is the Bank of Communication. This is at the back. It's written Bank Communication. This type of bank, there are quite a number of variations. A lot, I would say. I think 6, if I'm not mistaken, 6 or 7 variation. One is normal banknote with signature, with a serial number at the front only, and the other one is everything is the same with the back serial number and the front serial number, and then the third one is without the serial number. So there's already probably 3 variation. Then you have to extend another 3 variation is with the stamp. The stamp, which is with this it's a stamp. Some people call it overprint, but I don't call it overprint. This is a manual stamp on, stating that this note is cancelled on both sides. See? Yeah, but this is upside down. But the stamp is has varieties. And again, if there is a serial number on it, whether just only front or just only or at the back together, the stamp will be in this type. And then another variation of overprint stamp is without the serial number, without the signature. It will be like a T-shaped stamp on it for both sides. So there are quite a number of varieties. If I'm not mistaken, out of my mind, there are probably about 6 or 7 variation. At the moment, I only got 2, and to me is way enough. They are actually supposed to be very common. I got this one just for about 20. I got this one about 100 ringgit. That's about 15 euros or so. So pretty cheap. Actually, it's quite cheap to get this one. But I have never found any of this with the overprint stamp and in such a pristine condition. This is a very uncirculated, but even in the catalog book, the price is ranging around $20 and so I bought it almost a fair price, market value. But knowing it, I see some in eBay. They're selling graded ones probably about $100 to $200. I don't know why, but I think you're not gonna get. I think they're not gonna get sold, or somebody's gonna be brilliantly going to buy unless they're desperate for their collection. That is fair, being fair to the buyer and the sellers. If you put the price, if somebody willing to buy, willing buyers, willing sellers, as I would say. So yeah, some people are maybe desperate to complete their variation collections, probably will pay the price, those $200 and so forth. But in general sense, on the market, this is not that expensive. It's quite mass produced. It's very obvious it's mass produced a lot because the printer is a local printer who is a publisher. We have a lot of banknotes during the Republic of China. It's not printed with security. Most of it engraved and printed by those who produce books, publishers. So that's why they are quite mass produced, I would say, and they are quite cheap. It can be found in a good condition in such a way. So yeah, pretty much I've spent about less than 100 ringgit for this one. I think for me is quite enough. I have the other one, uncirculated one, when I got it more than, God knows that, more than 15 years ago of my life. I've already got one of these, but with serial number on both sides with no overprint. Of course, the other variation, as I just said, is without the serial numbers and so forth, and only serial numbers on the face. The back will be blank. So multiple variation there. So that's one. Let's continue, but I'll just go to China and then to Zimbabwe, and then the last one will be the Japanese yen. The next one is, if you notice, it just keep propping up my collection. Also the time I buy a lot of this custom gold unit. This is Central Bank of China. Let's see, Central Bank of China, 1,000 custom gold unit. Now, originally this type of banknote, custom gold unit, is used in the custom house as it is stipulated as custom gold unit, because they hold the actual value of trade from import and export into China, between between the international trade and mainland China. So this one does hold value as a currency. So eventually in that period in late 1930s to during the 30s to 1946, 57, even extend to 58, this banknote is widely used in public as a currency, because most of the currency, like the others, has inflation and so forth, they become redundant. That's why some of the notes you can see is cancelled, and most of it, majority, especially in Shanghai, are replaced with this notes. So there are quite a number of variation of this notes, and I would say I have quite a number of variation of these notes, and I actually very interested in collecting them all, these variations. The denomination is the same, but the design, the color is different. The building's perspective is different. Some is just the front face. Some, like this one, is a perspective from the left side. Some is on the perspective on the right side. Some just on the front. There are multiple varieties, but the signature, like the general manager and the assistant general manager, remain the same. But the rest is, though, the integral prints and so forth, is different. The patterns will be different, but the stamp here will be the same. The name position will be the same. The portrait remain the same, which is Dr. Sun Yat-sen, and of course the serial numbers. The serial numbers could be different. Some that have prefix like this, some that doesn't, some just numbers, but the position is pretty much in the same location as you see right now. So this is actually 1,000 custom gold unit. What more could I say? Probably during the Chinese New Year or the Lunar New Year next year, I'll do one video about custom gold unit. There are a lot of videos out there. The YouTubers have done custom gold unit, China's custom gold unit. They could explain, but probably I'm just going to show some of my collection and explain the differences on the banknote rather than much of the history of why it's a function of this note. So yeah, mainly used in Shanghai. I'm not too sure it's really used like in Beijing or in Guangzhou or Canton. As far as I know, at that period, China was kind of decentralized. It's quite unstable. They're not united, so the functionality of the banking system is also segregated based on region. That's why China, the Republic of China period, there are a lot of banknotes to collect. and it's a fun part to collect that. And then they're relatively cheap because forget about finding a good uncirculated condition, because it's way difficult going through the time how Chinese people kept their money during the Civil War and so forth, and then during the Cultural Revolution. A lot of it is missing. If you got uncirculated and it's a genuine one, they're worth a lot of money, I could say. Then the price range, of course, will be very, very different. It's going to be, if you got a good condition one, it's going to be very expensive. If you got a poor condition, it's going to be very cheap, because the quantity of the low grade types or damaged notes are higher in volume compared to the uncirculated banknotes. So yeah, so that's saying 1000 custom gold unit, one of the variations. Okay, so this one is written here, the Chinese Republic or China Republic, 36th year, on the 36th year of the China Republic. That's the Republic calendar. So that's one. Next is the People's Republic of China, one of the sought after notes. Now this is there are two variations of this notes. There's the earlier one and this is the later series. The design is almost similar. The only difference is I will always identify from an instant this type of notes is, how do we know this is the earlier version or the later version? Simple. The earlier version in the front here, these two corners here and my thumb, they should have a ribbon like a S, intertwined ribbon between this line and this frame. They will have intertwined. If you find something like this is overlap, this is the later series, which is more common than the one that I say about the ribbon. So I think I can show you how it looks like. Just a glance. Here's my catalog book. Just glance through. Just a glance through population. As you can see, even the 1 renminbi, 1 yuan, there are two types, the red one and the gray one. And if you're looking at a price, as you can see, it's much different. This is 4,800 yuan. This is 2,300 yuan. The red one's the earlier series. Is much more expensive than this one. Quantity wise, of course, is different. There you have it. As you can see, just look at the ribbon here and you'll know. So if the earlier version was more expensive, as you can see, it's about 33,000 yuan or 30,000 renminbi. Whereas this one around 2,500. Of course, there are a few there are two variations, as the books say, watermark and without watermark, if I'm not mistaken. So they're about 2,500 yen compared to 33,000. You be the judge. This is much more expensive. This is much more rarer than this one. So I've got the one is this, as you can see. Not a very pretty color design. Not a very pretty condition. If it's uncirculated, the green color in the middle is much more brighter, but this is faded. The color is supposed to be lighter green. This has become yellowish. The colors become darker, as you can see. Compare it, because this has been circulated, so and passing through hand to hand, dirt flopped into it and is aged, exposed to UV ray, the sunlight probably aged the note, so it's being toned by environmental damage, I would say. But other than environmental damage, there is the man-made damage. Crease everywhere. There are many creases everywhere. Split in the middle, a huge split in the middle, and so forth, as you can see. And of course, when I bought this note, somebody tried to repair the note. Not a good idea, but I got this very cheap, I would say. I admit it. It's about 400 ringgit. Most of these notes, even in the market, I find people selling it at 1,200 to 1,600 ringgit. I got it for 400, and those that actually attempted to try to sell to me this note, uh, for 1,200 at his lowest price. It started at 1,800 and 1,600, and then lower ball down to 1,200. That's just as low as it can go. But even that lowest as it go is much worse condition than right now I'm having it. So whether it's a blessing in disguise, I think, yeah, it could be. I've got it less than 500 ringgit, or roughly around 400 ringgit for a very hard note to get. Even in right now in Malaysia, it's very hard to get this note. So I'm proud to have this note. I'm quite happy to get this note, but probably I will have an objective to upgrade this note from this condition. I think this condition, in my judge, could be just fine. It won't, or lower very fine. I won't say it can go to the low side of very fine. Probably at fine condition with comments of repair. So probably at this time I will wait for a while, and then I will upgrade this note in the later future. Yeah, that's 5 renminbi. Quite a note. I won't say it's very poor. The details are there, no missing pieces. That is something that I like in my condition collection. I know the condition is that bad, but so I have a few criteria. Like, it's not totally too unreadable on the note, and there's no missing pieces. Even the tear, like kind of like this kind of tear, deep tear like this, I accept, unless they tear until there's missing pieces. Then probably I would try to avoid buying it unless the price is really, really right for me. So yeah. So as you can compare, this note is for this one. The color's been deteriorated. It looks like this one, but it's not. So this 5 renminbi is much more expensive and more hard to get. Okay, and it's very easy to see. The rare one of type is there's a ribbon crisscrossing here on the portrait with the emblem of the denomination of 5 yuan, whereas the cheaper one, as you can see, is not intertwined like a ribbon. It's just overlap. So that's the easier ways to see anywhere you are collecting. Just know that if it's intertwined together with the portrait and the emblem, the ribbon is intertwined, is considered rare, and it's goddamn expensive, I would say. If you can find any condition, get it. I repeat, any kind of condition, just get it. And I'm planning to do that. And I just have to plan to really going to buy in a bad condition for that note. And to upgrade that note, it will be very difficult financially, because the more better quality of that one rare note, the more expensive it is. So it will not be conducive for me to do that. Okay. Next, Zimbabwe. Now, I got this for 10 euros, so mark up to 50 ringgit. This is $10 billion. $10 billion. And I got it in the auction for 10 euros. Actually, I got it for 5. I won it at the 5 euro bid, but there is a minimum charge for commission, so rather than they calculate in percentage, they have to charge a minimum of 5 euros. So 5 plus 5. So to me, it's 10 euros. I bid for 5, I won on 5 euro, I got it for 10. I had to pay for 10. So there is something unique about this note. Yes, the condition is superb, I would say. Is uncirculated. Corners are sharp edges. There's no tear. Colors are right. no missing pieces, everything is conditionally right. But one thing special about this note, I think most of you have already figured out what I'm trying to guess it. Some might not know, some might know, but if you're a collector watching my video, you should know. So that's what's so unique about this note. The unique thing is about the serial number. The first letter is Z or Z. This is a replacement note, or in America is a star note. So a replacement note for Zimbabwe dollar is actually a lot of money. Not many can find a replacement note in a Zimbabwe dollar, especially uncirculated version. They are much more rarer. Much more rarer, okay, compared to other types of replacement notes. So for me to get the price that is 10 euros, I think it's a blessing in disguise. To be honest, it's a blessing in disguise. Everything seems right. I thought it was a counterfeit, but yeah, that's of course based on their conditions to afford at that time when they print the hyperinflation period. The notes is original, so probably the printing is started to deteriorate because the ink for the numbers and prefix, they are quite blurry. If you can see it close, yeah, looks like it's fuzzy, right? Because the ink is like insufficient. The tree print is quite deep. They didn't replace the number to a newer number, so it's very tear wear on those punching the numbers onto the banknotes. So those are one of the great reasons that this note, I won't consider this type of note as a error. It's not an error. I won't consider it as an error. Just that is a replacement note, and it's a very good one, I would say. I'm not too sure how much the actual price for this note, for replacement note for this one, probably is marking at $50, $30 at cheapest. Probably, I don't know. I don't want to speculate on this price. I cannot confirm. I only see the 100 trillion Zimbabwean dollar in replacement note. Now that one is worth around, I have seen they're selling at 1,005, 1,002. Some are selling at 900. The cheapest one I've seen in 800 US dollars. So that one is much more expensive, I would say. The other note, finally the last one, is the missing piece of my collection for my Japanese collection. As you all know, I am an avid collector of Japanese banknotes, so every variation kind of have to pass through me. And for this silver note, they have about 3 types of variation. First variation is the block number 200 or less. That is the first variation. Second variation is 201, block number 201 to 300, and 301 and above to 400 over is the third variation. Now, I'm not too sure why the block number determines its value. Probably there is a history of its printings and the difficulties of finding the notes. Probably notes like these is very early period of its time. The printing was much better quality, I would say, and is probably is used in more discreet, whereas the others are more mass produced. The 200 to 300 and 300 and above is probably used much more common than this one, that less than the block number of 200. So I've already got the others. Now according to the price, anything less than 200 block number is a rare and the most expensive among all the variations. And to be honest, it's true. A lot of people, a lot of dealers I've encountered, and even eBay, this type of notes are very cheap. You can get it for 10 ringgit, you can get it for 20, you can get it for 40 ringgit in the condition, based on condition. They are relatively cheap to get. this note. This type of note is very cheap to get. But most of those cheap ones is the block number is 300, 400, 300, 400, etc., etc. They will never be less than 200. That is something that ticks me off. I was noodling this type of banknotes. I have seen people who have this banknotes. I've been noodling all the banknotes without avail. They don't have less than 200 block number. So probably somebody has done research on this banknotes and found that this note is hard to find that is a lower level block numbers. So for introduction, they have the block number that is less than 200, and is one of the most expensive. Among all of this is the most expensive I've paid. It's a hefty one, I would say. This is almost 600 ringgit I paid for this note. Now, compared to those who are actually selling this note in uncirculated condition, remember this condition is uncirculated, and probably EPQ I would add, because the embossing is quite excellent. The watermark, you actually can see the watermarks coming out from the paper, just like just freshly stamped on. It's not iron, it's not flattened, so the note probably has a grade of EPQ on it. Uncirculated condition. So paying at 600 is a steal, if you ask me. It's a steal. It is, I would dare to say, lower than its expectation, because if this is uncirculated and EPQ, the price is probably in ringgit is about 1,200 to 1,500 ringgit, and I got it around 600 ringgit at the end of the bidding. Is quite a steal, I would say. Quite happy. I am very happy for the auction, and I'm very happy for it. So now, one thing that actually what makes me so excited about this is I never seen uncirculated condition that good. Especially its watermark. It's very beautiful. I don't know whether you can see it. Okay, I'll try my best. You see that? Wow. You see that? There's calligraphy, katakana or hiragana, Japanese letters behind here. Is a watermark. As you can see, it's blank. Then they have the words. And then if I not say, this is a kaki leaf, a Japanese kind of native plant. And the watermark just simply has gradients. It's not just a stamp on, it has gradients. Really very beautiful. You see the words, it's actually there's gradients in between, light and dark color of the surrounding of the words. The leaves have shades through light and dark. You see this? Light and dark colors of the leaf. Like there's a light and shadows onto the watermark. On the watermark. It's beautiful. I really love the watermark, and even from the surface right now, I can see the watermarks bursting out from the paper. So it's a very good quality paper, I would say. Probably at 62 or 60, I would say. EPQ. I bet this will be EPQ. Corners are sharp. No tear, no fold. It's quite clean. Just some minor stain here, but these are quite common in the Japanese printing of its conditions. So especially with the earlier days of the paper. This is one silver coin yen. Nippon Kinko promised to pay the bearer on demand 1 yen in silver. This is 1 yen silver, convertible silver. And 3 variation. I have completed the whole set for this note. A lot of, like, if I show this to people, they will think that it's a very cheap note. But until they know the variation and understand this one, and they'll appreciate, especially such a condition. You can find the 300 and 400 condition with this in uncirculated condition in the market. That's That's very good actually. It's quite common. But actually when I compare the watermark compared to this one and the lower block number, the lower block number has shades, much beautiful watermark compared to the 300 or even 200 block numbers. So this is going to be a masterpiece. I'm actually contemplating to actually grade this note just to make sure that it's kept properly and not to abuse this note, because Japanese notes, the paper qualities, they're fragile. They're actually very fragile. So I probably thinking of encapsulating this note. Compare all the notes, this paper is more thinner than any of the papers here presented. The white paper always indicate it is being bleached. It's a modern note, the paper is being bleached, which is common mass production of paper today. So that is something that I've learned actually, comparing the old notes and this, and how the counterfeiters produce the note from a bleached paper, trying to imitate the non or low bleach paper currency, which vast majority of the super rare notes in China, which is I actually presented last of my video, is like this one. These are actually low bleach, chemical bleach used on the paper. This pulp, they don't use, virtually they don't use, or they use minimum of bleach on the paper. So the paper tendency when you buy at this kind of age or condition, they tend to be yellowish. They tend to be yellowish color. Even when they come out as a new note, it's quite yellowish, light yellow, I would say. Yeah, it will not be as bright as this white color. So if you see notes that is white color, very bright, tendency they are bleach. We're using modern paper to counterfeit into an old paper. So the things that I've learned through that. So there you have it. That's all I have today. I'm actually going to stay up a bit longer for myself to continue the online bidding that I'm trying to win. Another bank of communication notes that I'm trying to get, and hopefully that would consider my birthday, not birthday, a Christmas present for myself. Yeah, a Christmas present, and hopefully by next month I would have received back some of the banknotes that I have sent for grading and encapsulate. Some of those notes I consider my long-term investment rather than collection, and some and hopefully I would like to see a grade that is giving me a very best grade, probably the best note I ever sent out for grading actually. So hopefully it returns in a very good grade. I was expecting like 68 or EPQ. I'm not too sure it could get 70, because 70 will be too difficult, because it has to be center, really printed on the center, and they have no errors in cutting those banknotes, which is very rare. 69 would be the highest EPQ. Yes, I would think there is EPQ for that note. So I hopefully to come back to that note very soon. So that's all for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. If you like more information, or get a response for the future note video of mine, please subscribe if you like to. Again, a little disclaimer, I do this video for my personal diary and share my diaries like a library open book policy that I would like to share to anyone and everyone who collects numismatic or attempt to collect numismatic, whether it's coin, whether it's banknotes or stamps, whatever it is, or even trading cards. Anything is collectible. The value of those items is judged by you, and to other people it maybe it's just trash, it's useless, it's pointless. The value has to come from one person and one person only. Yourself, yourself, yourself. So again, thank you very much for watching my video, and hope to see you really soon. Probably next month. Thank you and good day.